Yeah, OK, so good morning, everyone. I'm Yaron from Kyber Network. I'm the CTO. And let me start the talk by mentioning everyone what you are already very much familiar with. So Ethereum blockchain has a huge ecosystem of tokens. Every new project almost has its own native token. And all of these tokens today, right, they are mainly used to, so you can buy your own token, you can sell the tokens you own. But not far from now, you will also be able to use these tokens, right? And once you will want to use these tokens, so you will reach this problem. So let's say I want to use the Gnosis platform, right? So I have to get a hand of Gnosis token. So how do I get it? So I'll have to open some account, go to my favorite exchange, Binance or Bittrex, and then open an account there. It will take me a while. I will have to deposit some funds there. So Ether, maybe Bitcoin, it will be even slower if I deposit Bitcoin. And then, OK, so rightfully so, the exchange will also wait for a very long period of time before it actually confirms my deposits, because there are a lot of security risks when you go off-chain. But even, OK, after I did all that, so right now we are all used to this kind of ugly charts and ugly charts and order books. But as we hit mass adoption, so everyday user will not want to see this. When I know, so I arrived to Germany. I wanted to buy some euro at the airport. I don't want to to read these tables and try to figure out, OK, so how much will it cost me to actually buy this Gnosis? But OK, so this is another hurdle I have to take. So OK, fine. So I learn what is an order book. How do I buy things? What exactly the rate means? If it's, I don't know, is it from Ether to token or the other way around? But anyway, some kind of UI issues. And then, OK, everything is fine. I bought my Gnosis now, and now I want to withdraw it, right? So, OK, so it's not so easy to withdraw, because turns out I need to do another step here, and I need to register again, because it will not let me withdraw without any KYC. And OK, so the onboarding process is also very tedious. But eventually I get also past that, right? And then I again try to withdraw. And then, OK, everything is fine. And it tells me that, OK, eventually I'm supposed to get my funds now, which will take up to 30 minutes. And after 2 hours, if I don't get it, I have the right to go and complain. And this is an overall process of, OK, so the overall process is even few days if I have to do KYC. But let's say, OK, most of us already did KYC once, right? But still, the deposit and withdraw phase is very long. So it's at least like 1 to 2 hours, right? And all I want to do is use this Gnosis token. And in the future, I have many tokens, and now for every token, I need to do this tedious process only to use the application. OK, so centralized exchange. Nobody here likes central exchange, so decentralized exchange will solve everything, right? So not exactly. I mean, decentralized exchanges are great, but they are also oriented mainly for traders. So we have the same order book, right? Which is, again, not easy, very easy to read. And this order book is not just a UX thing, right? I mean, it's not. It's really integral part of being an exchange. And again, here, because of the order book and because usually order books are off-chain in all the existing exchanges, decentralized exchanges. So there is an onboarding process. Typically, I have to deposit some money, right? And then after I do the trade, I have to withdraw. So in total, it is still like 3 or 4 trades. And the worst thing about decentralized exchanges these days is that the prices are very funny. Liquidity is very low. So if you can see, so this is a snapshot of Gnosis from Ether Delta like a week ago. So you can see that you can sell Gnosis at under 1 Ether, but to buy it, you need to pay 9 Ether, right? So this is huge spread. Liquidity is terrible. It's not only Ether Delta. It's not only Gnosis. So, OK, so to sum up, being an exchange still doesn't make the interface easy. And also liquidity on decentralized exchanges is not, right, barely exists. Right, so in Kyber we take the approach, right, others already offered, so so at least one niche, or maybe a day niche for decentralized exchange is to have quick conversion, right? Like you go to a money changer on the street and you just trade euro for dollars or something. So all the existing decentralized exchanges really aim for whales that really want to do professional trading, where we think the real advantage or the real niche we can serve is that are the ones of instant exchange. So in instant exchange, there's no onboarding. You just give your Ether and get your token back, or give your token and get a different token back, right? And everything is done in a single transaction with under 1 minute. So this gives rise, OK, so this is a UI thing. But OK, you can say Ether Delta, OK, maybe you have some wrapper around it, have a nice UI. For example, AirSwap are talking after me. So they have this similar UI, right? So you just do instant swap. But still, it's not perfect because once you have this order book, usually when you introduce order book, you put it on chain. Sorry, you put it off chain, which makes it very hard for a smart contract and other applications to integrate with it, right? I mean, you cannot read the off-chain order book. And even if you could have read it, right, it's very hard to parse it right inside a smart contract. So order books makes it really hard for an integration. So what we propose in Kyber Network is instant swap service, right? So we formed the Liquidity network where we bring the liquidity on-chain already, right? So liquidity is not in the order book, is not in some user deposits account. Liquidity is already on a smart contract. And then once a user or another smart contract want to convert and use this liquidity, all it has to do is to make one function call, state the token he wants to convert, and some parameters, right? And then immediately, OK, so in this case, it will immediately swap Ether for a KNC token. And this gives rise to a set of applications, right? So the first and currently most used applications is a swap service, sort of an exchange service, right? Where you can actually so you can think of it sort of like Shapeshift, but on blockchain and more decentralized. So here we have a front end of a website, right, that allows people to swap from one token A to token B. And all user has to do is to say how much they want to swap and click the swap function. So this is currently our main service, but this is only one kind of application that the smart contracts enabled. OK, so here I have a demo, but I'm not sure how I can work it out. So if you guys can click on the demo, maybe. No. Yeah, OK, so maybe next time. OK, so let me also lost control over the slide. Can I have control over the slides again? No. Anyway, so for now, until I get control over the slides again, so no, so it only moves here, not on the main screen. Sorry? OK. Thank you. Yeah, OK. Yeah, OK, so we're not able to show the demo, but what we do allow, 1 second. So as I said before, so you only have to put, you log in with MetaMask or your Trezor or your private key. You select the token, destination token and source token, and then click the swap button, and then in a single on-chain transaction, everything is being done. So the most obvious application and most currently used application is the swap service. But going forward, and if you envision the crypto world as a world with a lot of applications, and every application will have its own native token, so you cannot expect your user to hold your token, right? Because there will be tons of applications and huge friction. So you can expect them to hold, several special tokens, or maybe their favorite tokens, plus some Ether or some stablecoin, DAI, or in the future some Bitcoin token or whatever. And our application will allow them to actually use this Ether in your application, because in the middle, we will convert it to your token and just send it to the decentralized application. And the application, the app will get it as a token, right? And the user only has to hold several, like Ether or DAI or whatever in his wallet. So it will make decentralized applications much more easier to use. And also recall that, again, everything is happening in a single transaction. So it's not like a conversion. OK, you have to wait for the conversion to be completed. Now send it to the application. No. So everything is single click. OK, so one thing is making application easier. We have swap service. And another thing is to facilitate decentralized financial applications. So in financial applications today, you have huge problem, getting price feeds from the blockchains, because order books will not give you price feeds because they are off-chain. Also now, if you need to actually make trade, by some decentralized organization. So again, integrating with Ether Delta and everything. So it is possible, if you give your contract some hints, etc. But it's much easier when everything is on-chain. So everything is much easier. So for example, if you take application like Melonport, for example, it has to maintain some portfolio for the users, right? And now some decentralized, government system, some DAO decided, OK, now we need to buy more Gnosis to our portfolio. So this DAO cannot really interact with 0x and other protocols because they are off-chain, right? And it doesn't even know the price unless, OK, so you can solve it, you can give it to oracles, etc. But in Kyber, everything is built in. OK, so our liquidity network structure is as follows. So on the one hand, we have the decentralized applications, users, all the others that want to use us. On the right-hand side, we have all the liquidity providers. So who provide this liquidity eventually? So initially, we provide most of the liquidity. Kyber itself operates swap service along with other smaller liquidity providers. But in the future, and even today, so we see token holders and token teams also tapping into our liquidity pool and providing their own liquidity. Also, professional market makers who are already doing market making on centralized exchange come and making market make on Kyber platform. We are already integrated, so we are with MyEther wallet swap function, also in IM token, which is the biggest Ethereum wallet in China. And we already have some financial applications like Olympus and Total who are integrated with us. And again, so from the developer application, from the developer, the message you should take is that Kyber is an exchange platform, swap platform that is really easy to use from a smart contract. Because you only need to make one function call, OK, plus maybe some more function calls to get some data. Everything is done in a single transaction. If you plug your token into the system, so every application that is already using us, for example, financial applications or wallet platforms can already use your platform, use your token. So, OK, so this is the marketing and selling point, and now how everything works. So I have 5 more minutes to try to explain that. So, okay, everything is on-chain, but nothing is magic here, right? I mean, if everything is on-chain and everything is done instantly, someone has to bring all the inventory and all the tokens there. If you want to buy a token in a single transaction, it already had to be there, right, before you send the transaction. So we take liquidity either from centralized exchanges and put them on the blockchain, or we have OTC markets where we take liquidity from. Some use their personal inventories, other take inventory from other exchanges. And then every reserve is responsible to put its own liquidity and inventory on the blockchain and then offer it to the public. And now in every swap, the network chooses the reserve is the best rate for the user. Oh, crashed again. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it's crashed, but okay, so let me, maybe explain more about the status of Kyber Network. So Kyber Network is already live, already in the mainnet. We are live since February this year, and we already have 50 tokens that are listed with spreads that are much smaller than the spreads you expect to find in decentralized exchanges. So this is the status. We are already live. Projects are already integrating with us on mainnet. Okay, now to get even more technical, so how do we, okay, so I said reserve managers need to bring the liquidity. Who are the reserve managers? So everyone can be a reserve manager. But how do you do it? How do you provide token liquidity to the contract? Yeah, okay, now I don't see anything, but yeah. So to provide liquidity, first of all, you need to decide or do some price discovery on the token you want to list. So to do that, you can either base it on the inventory you hold, or get some price feeds from external oracles like Binance or other exchanges. Then once you decided on the price, you also need to bring the actual token, right? So again, this you do either if you're a token project, right? So you have huge inventory of your tokens, so it's not really an issue. You just put it there. If you're doing it for profit, so you bring it from basically you have to buy and sell it, from the market. So you either go to other decentralized exchanges, to OTC or Binance or whatever. But then you bring it on the smart contract to the smart contract, and once it is there, so you can offer it to users, and it's part of the liquidity. And finally, once you do all that, and you have to set your price feeds, so because everything is on the blockchain, all the price feeds are on the blockchain. So what you have to do is to keep making, okay. So price discovery, okay. Since everything is on the blockchain, right? So you need to make transactions to feed prices. And this could be expensive because prices are relatively volatile in crypto. But we did some very nice optimizations which really reduce the cost, provided that you have a lot of tokens which you give price to. So in our platform, we have over 40 tokens. And every time we want to make an update for all of them, we pay only 50,000 gas, which is only like 2.5 times more expensive than the minimal cost of an Ethereum transaction. So this is an optimization we have, and it really allows us to give a competitive price because we can make frequent price updates and maintain low spreads. Okay, so as a developer, the message you should take home from here is once you can integrate with Kyber, with the swap service, use it in your application, allow people to use Ether maybe and convert it to your native token when they're using your application. That's from the one hand side. From the other side, someone should be able to provide liquidity to the network, and it can even be you. Okay, so we have projects that provide their own liquidity. So token projects can definitely offer their own liquidity. token holders, if you have some spare tokens and you want to get some fees on, so you can also come and join and be a reserve manager. And finally, so currently most of our liquidity is provided by professional market makers who know how to profit from these market making and reducing the spreads, and they come and do it on our platform. So with that, I will conclude. Also, as a developer, you should probably visit our developer portal. We just launched a new comprehensive documentation of all our features and how you can integrate and provide your own liquidity on our platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Yaron. Thank you. So we have time for one question, and the top question in the Slido app is about user experience and how. So from a user experience perspective, custodial exchanges like Shapeshift and other sort of centralized exchanges provide the same type of service. Can you explain how a decentralized exchange like Kyber is a better fit?
Yeah, no. So actually, even if you compare us to Shapeshift, user experience is much better because in Shapeshift you actually have to wait for numerous confirmations before you do the swap. So Kyber, if you compare it to Shapeshift, experience is much better. Just as a swap service. If you compare it to Binance, etc., right? So we do not provide full trading platform. We don't have an order book. You cannot place limit orders, at least not in our existing version, right? But if you compare yourself to, actually, we have huge advantage comparing to centralized swap services because everything is really in a single transaction and one click, where Shapeshift can take much longer than that. Okay, on the other hand, Shapeshift, of course, also offer Bitcoin and other tokens, which we still don't offer, right? So that's to answer your question.
Thank you very much.
Okay.